an itch and you want me to scratch it, don't worry, I'll be there and I'll scratch it all night long. If you got a pain and you want me to soothe it, don't worry, I'll be there and I'll soothe it till it's gone. I might not be a doctor or a licensed practitioner, but I got all the skills to make you feel much better. So if you're feeling low and you need some help to deal with it, don't worry, I'll be there. Don't worry, I'll be there.
Well, we're interviewing a megastar.
What's his name?
This is
Alan Clancy.
Alan Clancy in the
one and only
house.
Alan
Yeah.
Clancy, a major star in the world of dancing.
Yes.
This man could put many of you young dancers out there to shame, so watch out. He's also a very nice, sweet man, and we're going to talk about some interesting things. What got you started doing your 1-2, 1-2, or whatever, your dancing?
That started when I was, I think, 2 years old. I used to stand in my head in the living room, and then I had all the feet marks all around the lounge room. So my mother, when she put me to bed, like about 11 or something, as soon as she went in the other room to ironing or something, I would undo it, get out, and I'd walk around all night. So they didn't know what to do with me.
Oh my God.
So they decided to send me to an acrobatic school.
Oh, acrobat! I love it. I love
That's how I
it.
started with gymnastics.
You started
when
with.
I was 5, actually.
So when you were 5, you started with gymnastics
Gymnastics
particularly before official dancing.
Yeah, to get rid of my energy.
Of course.
I always had too much energy.
You've actually been involved professionally with some rather big names, such as Miss Anne Margaret. Would you care to talk about that, sir?
Well, I was working in the Folie Bergère in the Tropicana Hotel. So what she would do is, because I knew her dances, Vegas was smaller then, so the dancers of the stars or the big shows all knew each other. So because I knew her dances, she would ask me to go out with them. So what she would do, like she'd hire a movie theater late after show, like 2 in the morning, and she would take us on a bus, and she'd pay for dinner, and then we'd watch a movie with her. But what I can say about her, she's the most real person I ever met. She has the best, what would you say? People in Vegas respond to her very well because they liked her so much, because she was very real.
Wow.
Yeah. So I used to watch her side stage. I talked to her many times. She's just a beautiful person.
Wow. Well, that's wonderful to hear. You also worked with Mr. Piano Man himself, the one and only Liberace. My God.
I didn't work with him, but the
okay.
guy that I worked for him, who was a famous marionettist, who had a marionette made of Liberace with a piano. Mm-hmm. So I used to be backstage and I'd help him with putting his act together. But I wasn't on stage with him, although later on I worked in shows with him. Oh. So I used to sit backstage with Liberace, yes. Another beautiful person.
He seemed like it, yes.
Yeah.
But you never danced. You never danced on stage during his playing or anything.
Well, he didn't really have dances too much. He had dancing fountains.
Oh, right. So
and he'd come in on a rope.
Yes, of course. He flew in and out. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Or he'd drive on in his car.
That's amazing.
But he was. Oh, I do have a story about him. What was I going to say? Where was I? Oh, so if you were in the dressing room with him, he would be a normal person, dressed in regular jeans and whatever, and he'd go get you the food and everything and serve you. That's how he was. He wasn't like a big star or anything.
No.
He said it was all a facade, the whole thing.
That's amazing.
I would just say I was in the ballet company there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And we did Peter and the Wolf, and I was Peter. So we did Peter and the Wolf, and there was intermission, and then I went backstage. There was a knock at the door, and who should be there in a fur coat but Liberace?
I love it. Okay, now next, you work with a famous. You work with a famous singer, actor, talk show host, producer, the one and only Merv Griffin, or you knew him or whatever. Tell us about Mr. Griffin.
Yeah, well, we
please.
did television shows for him because in those days he would because his show was taped in Las Vegas. We did the Merv Griffin show.
Oh, the talk show, the famous talk show.
So
wow.
we took the acrobatic numbers from the Folie Bergère and we would do his show, or Jerry Lewis. We did a lot of Jerry Lewis telephones.
Yeah.
Did that for a long time.
Wow.
The best words of advice? Oh, find your spiritual self. It's the most important thing to do, especially after you work around casinos and money and the mob, because I work for the mob at the Tropicana Hotel. The best thing to do is to find your spiritual self. Otherwise, you end up at the bottom of the lake with the money. That's not going to help you.
Thank you, Alan.
Well, Andrew and Jeremy here again with a very lovely lady. What's your name?
Alistair.
Alistair. I'm Jeremy. Good
Wonderful
to meet you.
Jeremy.
And we've got some interesting questions here. She's a very fascinating woman. Now, you are An artist?
Yes.
What kind of artist?
I do mainly performance-based art, so conceptual self-portrait work, performance videos, immersive installations.
Wow. Well, that does sound awesome and trippy in a good way. Yes, and where do you put these shows on or perform or however it is that you do that?
I haven't been in town for that long, so I've been sort of changing gears and focusing more on my writing lately. But I've been doing this program with the Torrance Art Museum that's like a 9-month-long program with a group of other artists that they selected, and it will end in a group show.
What's the most exciting thing that's happened to you so far here in LA?
That's hard. That's a very hard one because there's so many amazing things that happen in Los Angeles.
That's a good attitude. You know?
I do a lot of volunteer work with the American Cinematheque, which actually the Egyptian Theater is just down the hill here.
Yes. Yeah, it's a great theater.
What do you do there?
Any number of things, from tearing tickets to helping with the mailing list to helping the guests that we have make sure their experience is good.
Right, the movies they play, all the old movies and things they do there.
Yeah, it's either classic films or foreign films, independent cinema, new premieres.
Exactly.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Documentaries.
Yeah, I've been there a few times to see some old films, and they do the interactive stuff and there's the artistic stuff to make it seem like you're back in the day, which is really awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's cool, yeah. Now, how long is it that you've been here in LA?
Less than 2 years.
Oh, less than 2, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've established, you know,
You're established. It takes time, I think, to. So I guess my goal, which I was just speaking with Brahmavid inside, one of the monks here at the temple.
Yes.
Is to take sort of the deeper search for meaning in our lives and find a way to weave that into films that are commercially viable, to make this kind of seeking very accessible to people and commercial audiences.
That makes sense, yeah.
So everything, I think, in my work, one of my main goals is to heal myself and others and to expand empathy and consciousness.
Oh, thank you for that.
I like that.
You're making me remind me to look at myself as well, and I appreciate you even more. I really do.
Thanks.
You know, just
Thank you, Alistair. We love you.
Thank
And
you.
we look forward to the next one, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye. Alicia. Alicia. So beautiful, Alicia. Oh, where are you from, Alicia?
I reside here in California, but I'm from Ohio.
Ohio. She resides here. That means she sleeps here every night.
Yes.
Residing.
Not on Hollywood Boulevard.
No, that's what I thought. You're right here on the street.
No,
No,
in
okay.
California.
Some people do, though. They sleep on Hollywood Boulevard.
And no judgment there.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Very comfortable here on Hollywood Boulevard. All the food you can eat. And of course, there's always a party going on. No, I'm going to ask you one more question. What did you think of the old dances that were on the Merv Griffin show? And those like the classic 60s, 70s shows where they do these 60s fashion and those moves.
Well, I think that was an amazing time. Now we're going back in terms of probably a bit before me, but what I'll say is I know Merv Griffin, one of the iconic, he would be like the, Jimmy Fallon of his day, if you will. But I mean, amazing. And so they would have those great kind of variety acts on. So like you said, yeah, the dancers on there, and amazing because they studied their craft in such a way. They were groomed and everything. So the dancers, like the performers there, were amazing, tip-top shape.
So thank you very much, Alicia.
Yes,
This is
thank you.
Andrew from the Andrew and Jeremy show. Saying,
And Jeremy.
Thank you, Alicia, for that
Thank
beautiful
you.
interview.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Hollywood Boulevard, and this time we're interviewing some very beautiful ladies here. What's your name, miss, please?
Cat.
Kat, and this is?
Zoila.
Oh, yeah. Well, she can pronounce that better later on. Anyway, Jeremy's going to ask these ladies what they think about the latest dances that are going on right now.
Yes,
Go ahead,
I mean, as we
Jeremy.
know, dance has come a long way. What do you think about dance in the current times, right?
Well, it was very different, more classic, like more fancy. I feel like right now it's just more steps.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go to the music, They always make
What's it, challenges?
yeah, challenges.
Challenges, and a lot of people on social media, they make up dance like the Kiki dance, and they're out on their cars, they're doing a Dougie, stuff like that.
jerk,
So
yeah.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
really see that in the back, like it's back
That's
then.
true, and there's all the, well, I'm not sure if it's still current, but the twerking and the
Oh yeah, that's
whatever,
current.
yeah.
That will be current forever.
Yeah,
So once again, ladies and gentlemen,
Wait, okay.
wonderful interview
Squeeze in.
from Kat, who spelled with a K,
Yeah.
with a K, and
Soila.
how do you spell it?
S-O-I-L-A.
S-O-I-L-A. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, in the house, y'all.
Slow down.
This is Andrew from the Andrew and Jeremy Show, and this is Melrose, the famous
Melrose Larry Green. I'm with Art Garfunkel.
And he was a dancer on the Madonna video. The Madonna. Yes. Any other dancing you've done in your
Gene
channel?
Simmons videos. Too.
Gene Simmons videos. He was a dancer.
Yes.
Right here on Hollywood Boulevard. And this is where you're going to find him, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to take a tour, you can take you a tour. You can tell you the history.
Feeling groovy.
Many things. He also sings, he tells jokes. And why is it so noisy on this boulevard? Why do people have to shout all the time?
I know, they're crazy people.
Anyway, once again, anything on dancing, Laurie? Anything more on dancing? Nothing more on dancing?
Dancing,
Well,
dancing is the way you feel. You know, I got one main move.
Yeah, Larry, whoa, yeah, yeah, boy.
do your Elvis Presley dance.
Elvis Presley. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Right all the time.
The
You ain't
knees are
nothing but a
great.
hound dog. You ain't never caught a rabbit. You ain't no friend of mine.
Woo!
They
Thank
said
you.
was high class.
I gotta
What
run
up
back
with
in.
just
Thank you, Melrose
Say
Harkin.
you are art.
Thank you.
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
By the way, these your friends. Do they ever dance anywhere, these
Yeah,
kids?
you guys dance.
Yeah, we're YouTubers.
But are you YouTube dancers?
Childish
Because
people on
what's happening with the dance scene now in LA?
in LA.
Where do you go to find good dancing? You know,
Oh, The dancing. subway.
the subway.
Yeah, the subway.
Oh, the subway.
Metro
Okay.
stations in the
Like
train.
buskers and all that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think so
They're
too.
talented. They're talented.
I think you find the best dancers
Yeah,
on the
definitely.
street and on the subway. Yeah.
The subway.
You're recording
That's-
me and
that's
I'm
where it's at,
recording
the
you.
subway.